At the bottom of our list, we have the Mark 1 Automated Walker. This little droid stands just 2.5 meters tall but packs a serious punch with 2 blaster cannons and a concussion grenade launcher. These robotic walkers served the New Republic as patrol units and heavy cavalry. They could hit 60 kilometers per hour, making them perfect for rapid response missions. Several of these were stationed on Gallius Rax's ship during the Second Battle of Jakku, where they were all destroyed when the ship went down. Right next to it is the AT-AT, or All-Terrain Exploration Droid. Also standing 2.5 meters tall, this walker was built through a collaboration between Cybot Galactica and Kuat Drive Yards. Its job was exploring and surveying newly discovered planets. Armed with a single side-mounted heavy blaster, it had excellent balance and could traverse the roughest terrain imaginable. Think of it as the galaxy's most heavily armed surveyor. The AT-PT, or All-Terrain Personal Transport, is where we get our first non-droid walker. This 2.5-meter machine could reach 60 kilometers per hour and climb 45-degree angles thanks to hydraulic adjusters that kept it balanced. It was a light anti-infantry walker used by both the Republic and later the Empire. Manufactured by Rathana Heavy Engineering, a subsidiary of Kuat Drive Yards, this walker gave a single soldier the firepower of an entire squad. The AT-RT, or All-Terrain Recon Transport, stands at 3.2 meters tall and is one of the most recognizable two-legged vehicles from the Clone Wars. Used mainly by advanced recon force troopers, these walkers were incredibly versatile. Ground support, police work, civil defense, post-battle cleanup, the AT-RT could do it all. It carried one soldier on top and was fast enough to outrun most ground vehicles. Moving up in size, we have the AT-RCT, or All-Terrain Riot Control Transport. Introduced 19 years before the Battle of Yavin, this walker served the Republic, Empire, and Fel Empire. Standing 6 meters tall, it was specifically designed for urban environments and crowd control. With a maximum speed of 90 kilometers per hour and armed with 2 double medium blaster cannons, plus suppression weapons, this walker was built to handle large populations and civil unrest. The AT-XT, or All-Terrain Experimental Transport, was a highly effective combat vehicle that preceded both the AT-RT and AT-ST. Standing 8 meters tall with a top speed of 75 kilometers per hour, it packed twin laser cannons under its chin and 2 long-range proton mortar launchers. This walker was incredibly effective in combat, but it was never mass-produced because its designers were constantly improving and upgrading later versions. Here's something different, the AT-CW, or All-Terrain Construction Walker. At 8.6 meters tall, this wasn't a combat vehicle at all. Based on the famous Scout Transport design, it had 2 legs but was equipped with small yet powerful tractor beam generators. These were used to lift large building materials for construction projects. However, those tractor beams could definitely be weaponized if the situation called for it. The AT-AR, or All-Terrain Advanced Raider, stands 9.04 meters tall and 4.5 meters long. This was a variant of the AT-ST used by the Empire during the Galactic Civil War. It had heavier armor than the standard AT-ST for frontline combat, but it was only armed with a single laser cannon. The trade-off was speed. This thing was faster than its more heavily armed cousin. Now we get to the famous Chicken Walker. The AT-ST, or All-Terrain Scout Transport, is probably the most well-known two-legged walker in Star Wars. Standing 9.04 meters tall and 4.5 meters long, this lightweight bipedal walker was used by Imperial ground forces, and later by the First Order with upgraded variants. The Empire used them for swift reconnaissance and troop support. They were equipped with 2 chin-mounted medium blaster cannons with a range of 2 kilometers. But here's the thing about AT-STs. They were deliberately lightly armored. The Empire prioritized speed and maneuverability over protection. This made them vulnerable to creative tactics, as the rebels discovered on Endor when Ewoks managed to take them down with logs and rocks. The AT-MP, or All-Terrain Missile Platform, shared the same dimensions as the AT-ST, but was fitted with arms that acted as missile launchers and a chin-mounted rotary laser cannon that looked like a minigun. Its missile capabilities made it heavier and more massive than the AT-ST, even though they had the same basic frame. The AT-KT, or All-Terrain Kashyyyk Transport, also shared those same dimensions. Built by Quat Drive Yards, this AT-ST variant was equipped with large anti-personnel net guns on each side of the cockpit area, plus an array of other weaponry. It was specifically designed for use on Kashyyyk to deal with the ongoing Wookiee insurgency more effectively. The AT-DT, or All-Terrain Defense Turret, stands 9.11 meters tall and was a bigger, more effective bipedal walker used by the Empire. This was a slow vehicle due to the massive size of its main cannon, which fired shots that exploded on impact. While firing, it became completely immobilized, making it vulnerable to anti-vehicle weapons due to its relatively light armor. You can spot these briefly in Solo, a Star Wars story. The AT-DP, or All-Terrain Defense Pod, stands 11.6 meters tall and was a bipedal Imperial walker manufactured by Quat Drive Yards. Used prior to and during the Galactic Civil War, they were driven by Imperial combat drivers. This walker was a successor to the smaller AT-RT, standing almost 3.5 times taller, though it ranks lower than some others due to its lighter overall mass. Here's where things get interesting. The AT-TE, or All-Terrain Tactical Enforcer, outranks the previous entry even though it's shorter, because height doesn't always mean bigger or more powerful. This multi-purpose military ground walker was used by the Republic during the Clone Wars. It boasted 6 legs that could be magnetized, 6 laser cannon turrets located along the body, and a heavy projectile mass driver cannon on top. This beast was 22 meters long and almost 10 meters tall. The AT-TE was absolutely revolutionary. Those 6 legs could magnetize to climb vertical surfaces, allowing it to scale cliffs and even operate in the vacuum of space. It was essentially a walking tank that could go anywhere and do anything. The Empire looked for the AT-TE's success and used it as direct inspiration design. The AT-AP, or All-Terrain Attack Pod, was a small tripedal walker manufactured by Quat Drive Yards and developed from the AT-PT. Standing 11 meters tall, it had an angular hull situated above 2 multi-jointed legs and a smaller retractable third leg. The AT-AP's primary weapon was a powerful long-range heavy-mass driver cannon located in the forward hull. This was essentially a mobile artillery piece. The third leg deployed as a stabilizer when firing the main gun. The AT-AA, or All-Terrain Anti-Aircraft, has a length of 18 meters and an estimated height of 13 to 14 meters. This walker had 4 stubby legs and lizard-like locomotion with a low profile. Its only weapon was a turreted flak pod, capable of firing several types of ordnance. The walker saw action during the Galactic Civil War, where it was used against aircraft, but it was completely useless against ground vehicles. The AT-HH, or All-Terrain Heavy Hauler, is neither a combat vehicle nor a troop carrier. First seen serving the First Order during the Battle of Crate, this walker was also known as the Truck Walker. 2 of them were used during the Battle of Crate to haul the Super Laser siege cannon toward the Resistance base. Although their primary purpose was hauling massive ground weapons, they were far from defenseless. Their unusual multi-legged design, comparable to crustaceans and insects, provided immense power. They measured 29.57 meters long and 14.29 meters tall. The AT-OT, or All-Terrain Open Transport, was an 8-legged walker designed for infantry transportation, used by the Grand Army of the Republic during the Clone Wars. It was deployed during the Battle of Felucia toward the end of the war. You can see this walker in Revenge of the Sith transporting clone soldiers into dense forested areas. Standing 14.3 meters tall, it was an available and effective vehicle that could carry at least 34 clone troopers, though it could pack in more if needed. And here we reach the legend itself. The AT-AT, or All-Terrain Armored Transport, also known as the Imperial Walker, was the backbone and major part of the Empire's ground cavalry. This basic version brought massive firepower and was heavily armored. The AT-AT was arguably the most feared and effective land vehicle in the Imperial Army. It stands 20 meters long and 22.5 meters tall. The AT-AT wasn't just a weapon, it was psychological warfare on legs. When Rebel forces saw these mechanical monsters approaching across a battlefield, half the battle was already won through sheer intimidation. The walker was armed with 2 heavy laser cannons mounted on the chin, plus 2 medium blaster cannons on the sides of the head. It could carry 40 troops into battle and had armor so thick that standard Rebel weapons were completely ineffective against it. The Dune Walker was a modified version of the all-terrain armored transport used by the Empire, specifically designed to serve on planets with deserts and hot climates. AT-ATs were often modified to be more effective in certain environments and equipped with special components for specific missions. The Dune Walker was 22 meters long and 15.5 meters tall. The AT-AT, or All-Terrain Armored Heavy Transport, was the heavily armored version of the AT-AT. Standing at the same height and length as the basic variant, this version was more heavily armored and likely weighed significantly more, which is why it ranks above the others. It was 22.5 meters tall and served as heavy cavalry, winning many battles due to its armor that was resistant to small arms fire and even medium-sized weapons. The First Order AT-AT was their upgraded version of the basic AT-AT. Although similar to the Imperial variant, the First Order version featured increased armor and a boarding ramp under its chin in place of the heavy laser cannons. Instead, its primary weapons were mounted on the sides of its head. These AT-ATs were deployed during the Battle of Crete. Manufactured by Kuat and Trala Drive Yards, it was longer at 24 meters but maintained the same height of 22.5 meters. The AT-IC, or All-Terrain Ion Cannon, resembled the standard AT-AT design, except half of its structural body space was dedicated to supporting a massive ion cannon. The Empire converted a small number of its AT-AT walkers into mobile ion cannons, which became known as all-terrain ion cannon walkers. They were 26 meters long and slightly taller at 23 meters. These were used for mobile defense of strategic locations and could disable enemy vehicles and ships with their ion blast. The AT-ACT, or All-Terrain Armored Cargo Transport, was another AT-AT variant deployed at major Imperial construction projects like shipyards and sprawling research installations. Even though they weren't built for combat, they were still capable of posing a formidable threat to infantry, as rebel troopers discovered during the Battle of Scarif. They were 35 meters long and almost 32 meters tall, making them significantly larger than standard ATs. The AT-M6, or All-Terrain Mega Caliber 6, also known as the Guerrilla Walker or First Order Heavy Assault Walker, was a mobile heavy artillery walker used by the First Order. Following the collapse of the Empire and the destruction of most of its industrial capabilities by the New Republic, the First Order sought a successor to the original Imperial AT-AT. This eventually led to the development of the AT-M6. This monster stands almost 41 meters long and more than 36 meters tall. The AT-M6 was equipped with a Mega Caliber 6 turbo laser cannon on its back, which meant it brought the firepower of a Star Destroyer to ground combat. Its front legs were equipped with cable cutters specifically designed to prevent snowspeeder tactics like those used on Hoth. This walker could punch through planetary shields and level entire city blocks with a single shot. And at the number 1 spot comes an unlikely candidate, the SPHAT, or Self-Propelled Heavy Artillery Turbo Laser. This walker was a modular heavy artillery unit used by the Grand Army of the Republic during the Clone Wars and by the Empire afterward. It had 12 legs that served as mobile support structures, and they were deployed directly from Acclamator-class assault ships. The SPHAT walker chassis served as the basis for numerous different weapons platforms, though the best-known version was the turbo laser variant. This monster dwarfs all others in length, being 140 meters long, though it's shorter than the Guerrilla Walker at only 20.6 meters tall. The SPHAT represents the ultimate evolution of walker technology. It's technically not an AT walker, but it's in the same family and uses similar technology. The 12-legged design provided incredible stability for its massive turbo laser cannon, which was equivalent to a capital ship's main gun. The modular design meant different weapon systems could be mounted on the same chassis: ion cannons, mass drivers, even experimental weapons. What makes the SPHAT truly terrifying is its versatility. The Republic used these during the Clone Wars to take down separatist ships that were too close to the ground for orbital bombardment. The Empire inherited these designs and improved them with better targeting systems, stronger armor, and more powerful weapons. By the time of the Galactic Civil War, a single SPHAT could engage an entire rebel fleet. The Walker family represents the evolution of ground warfare in the Star Wars universe. The Republic focused on versatility and adaptability, walkers that could handle multiple mission types and operate in various environments. The Empire prioritized fear and overwhelming firepower, walkers designed to crush resistance through sheer intimidation and superior armament. The First Order took the Empire's designs and made them even deadlier with improved technology and heavier weapons. Each faction learned from previous designs, improved weaknesses, and created new variants for specific battlefield roles. From reconnaissance and construction to heavy assault and artillery support, there's a walker for every military need in the Star Wars galaxy. But here's the crazy part. We've only seen a fraction of these walkers in the movies and shows. Most exist in expanded universe material, games, and reference books. There's an entire mechanical army that casual fans have never heard of, each one designed for specific tactical situations and environments. The AT Walker family shows the incredible depth of Star Wars world building. Every vehicle has a purpose, a history, and a place in the larger military doctrine of its faction. From the tiny AT-AT Scout to the massive SPH-AT artillery platform, each represents a different approach to mechanized warfare. So the next time you watch The Empire Strikes Back and see those AT-ATs stomping across Hoth, remember, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's an entire galaxy of mechanical monsters out there, each one more specialized and terrifying than the last. If you want to see more deep dives into Star Wars lore that most fans miss, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments which walker you think is the most overpowered. And if you made it this far, you're a true Star Wars fan who appreciates the incredible depth of this universe. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.